Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. You know, all jokes aside, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence are the two best fighters at 147. And there's a bunch of guys who are good fighters, but just don't have the ability, in my opinion, to beat either fighter. Now, Terence Crawford has some great accomplishments, man. He unified the division at 140. People criticize him. I've criticized him. But, you know, if I'm being 100% honest, he's done a lot in his career. He's actually done, I can say that he's done more than Spence. Spence hasn't unified his division. He's not a multiple weight champion. So, really, Errol Spence is just starting to take off. But he's taking off in a big way. His biggest one is probably the Kell Brook fight. Now, you know, I say a lot of bad things about Kell Brook, but it's all jokes, man. At one point, Kell Brook was a premier fighter at 147. To be honest with you, I think he should go back down to 147 because I think he's got a lot left in the tank in terms of, you know, being able to beat some of those top guys at 147. You know, at 154, I just don't think it's a good fit for him. Now, Terence Crawford looks amazing at 147, right? Keep in mind, his last opponent was Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn, as Floyd would say, solid competitor, but he beat Pacquiao. I think he robbed Pacquiao. In my opinion, he robbed Pacquiao, right? Just too slow. Clearly, he was getting bullied during that fight, so it wasn't that big of a match for Terence Crawford, right? Now, on the other hand, we have Terence Crawford, who's on Top Rank, and Errol Spence is on PBC. Bob Arum said that it's impossible to make this fight without it being on pay-per-view. Now, me personally, I don't feel that either of these two guys are like huge names. When I think of huge names, I think of like Canelo. Canelo's a huge name. He's a name. He's somebody who has name recognition all over, right? Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, again, not household names, right? Not many household names in boxing. I mean, we have Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Those were household names. But you've got to get to that point where you are a household name. And, you know, becoming undisputed is not going to make you a household name. It didn't make Terence Crawford a household name. As much as boxing fans want to feel like, you know, his accomplishments should warrant him being a huge star, they don't, because it's not about that. You know, it's about the fighter's personality. Recently, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence were on the Breakfast Club. And, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, neither one of them seemed too eager to make the fight with one another because they know the politics. They know the backstage politics between this matchup. Now, Errol Spence's route to Terence Crawford or Terence Crawford's route to Errol Spence, they're both different. Terence Crawford, much easier path to Errol Spence unless he were to fight him next, which this is not going to happen. You know, this is definitely not going to happen. This fight's not going to be on pay-per-view until it's built up properly, until both of these guys have better name recognition, because they're going to squeeze as much money out as they can out of both of these guys, right? Now, Errol Spence, this guy, from what I can tell, it looks like he's going to go around collecting these belts at 147. You know, so he's going to have to fight Sean Porter or Danny Garcia. He's going to have to fight Keith Thurman. You know, and then he's got to fulfill his mandatories, right? Terence Crawford, you know, honestly, I'm really not too privy to who Top Rank has that he can fight. But, you know, anyone they match him up against, he's going to beat them. Neither one of these guys is going to lose, you know, on their road to fighting one another. Neither one of these dudes is scared to fight each other, man. If I'm being perfectly honest, they both got dog in them. Terence Crawford's a killer. He's a dog. Errol Spence is a dog, man. Again, both of these guys are on a collision course. We'll get the fight. We're not going to get the fight next year. And I'm cool with that. You know, I support both fighters. Don't think that I hate Terence Crawford. I don't hate Terence Crawford. I just wish he was a little bit more vocal. I wish he was a little bit more outlandish. But, you know, from the interview that I saw on the Breakfast Club, and it was a great interview. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. You know, Terence Crawford said he doesn't need to do that. You know, he lets his skills do the talking, which is cool because he's a very skilled fighter. You know, just keep going on these talk shows. You know, keep putting yourself out there for people to see you. That's the big thing, you know. Same thing with Errol Spence, man. He's got a whole state behind him. State of Texas seems to be behind him wholeheartedly, man. He got a huge reception in Texas, so he's doing good. Crawford needs to continue piggybacking off of Spence's name, man. Anytime he's out in the media, he needs to be talking about Errol Spence, right? And vice versa. Both of these guys will be connected until the end of their career. You know, this is a mega fight when it does get made. You know, I would like both of these dudes to get paid nicely when they do meet. Terence Crawford made $3 million for his fight against Jeff Horn, and I'm assuming Spence made about $1.5 to $2 million for Ocampo. So in terms of how much they're making, it's around the same amount. I was actually surprised that Terence Crawford made $3 million for fighting Jeff Horn, but that's what's up, you know. Again, the fight's gonna happen, man. Both of these guys want the fight. They both dogs. It's gonna happen. When it does happen, I got Spence winning, man. I'm gonna ride with Spence. You know, I think he's gonna, you know, of course, Terence Crawford's gonna use that movement, but you know, we gonna slow him down with them body shots, man. He gonna slow down. You know, he got rocked by Gamboa. When Spence hits him, he's gonna get rocked. All right, that's just what I believe. That's just my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna get into Bob Arum's statement, and this is with regard to the only way to make this fight is if it's on pay-per-view. I mean, it is impossible, in my opinion, to do this fight, Crawford against Spence, either on ESPN or Showtime, without pay-per-view, because the legitimate demands for both fighters, and considering what they're both paid in the past, would just make it prohibitive. It would blow Showtime's budget. It would have a big dent in our budget. So I really think that I would love to sit with Al Heyman and with Showtime, Steven Espinoza, and really work this out. It isn't just idle conversation. Bob Arum's statement. So, I mean, the fight could be made, man, but it's going to take a while to make the fight. So, we're not going to get it next. If it happens next, what do we have to look forward to? You know what I'm saying? If Crawford and Spence fight next, after that fight, what do we have to look forward to? It's dead. The welterweight division is dead after that. So, you know, you might still be a closet Keefe Poo fan, but when he comes back, he's going to get his ass beat. And if he fights Josecito Lopez, who got 7 losses, we're going to go in on him too. I always find a way to diss Keith Thurman, man, but, you know, it needs to be said about Keefe, you know. But that's my thoughts on Crawford and Spence and the situation with pay-per-view. Neither one of these guys are pay-per-view stars. Terence Crawford was on pay-per-view against Victor Postal. Didn't do well. He hasn't been on pay-per-view since. They got him fighting on an app. I don't even know why, you know. So, again, I think Spence is the bigger fighter at this moment. But that's not to say that both of these guys are big names, because they're not. So, hopefully they can raise their profiles and turn this into a mega fight, because that's really what it is. Hitman Boxing, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe. I'm out.
I woke up in a strange place, right next to a strange face, head banging like a drum. I do not know what I've done. I see a couple empty bottles, thinking it's today but it's tomorrow. A new day, same shit, and I think I gotta have it. I'm feeling like a scumbag.
Underrated, you niggas steady ignoring greatness. A pallbearer, what you need when I come undertaking. This hostile takeover by the chill hover. I got the blueprints, I really do this, so move on over. Stay in your lane, nigga, stay in your lane. You steady running at the guns, but fucking suck at the game. Ain't it a shame? It really is. My words evoke fear. I teach you lessons that'll have you breaking down in tears. Call me Joe Clark with a baseball bat, chaining up the doors and spelling all these niggas from rap. Cuz they kill your brain cells, son. How don't you see it? They steady brainwashing you and then repeating, but 'tis the season for chill wage. I bring about change, but not Obama, cause this nation I will never claim. I got my sights aimed at the top spot on the chop block.